She planned our entire future together and told me about it at our wedding in her vows in front of 150 people without ever asking me first. The first thing I felt when Sarah started reading her vows was pride. She had clearly written them herself, no template, no generic lines. Her hands were shaking slightly, her voice was steady, and everyone in that room was leaning forward. I remember thinking, this is the woman I am spending my life with. Look at her. Then she started talking about the house, the specific house. 4 bedrooms, she said, smiling at me through tears because we are going to need the space. The yard for the dogs, plural, 2 at least. And then the part that dropped my blood, about 10 degrees. She looked right at me in front of 150 people and said she could not wait to watch me become a father. I do not want children. Sarah knew that. We had that conversation 11 months before the wedding. I told her clearly, I love my life, I love you, I do not want kids. She said she needed time to think. Time passed. She never brought it up again. I told myself that meant she had made peace with it. Standing at that altar, I understood she had not made peace with it. She had made a plan. The ceremony continued because what else do you do? You don't stop a wedding because the vows contained information you weren't aware of. I smiled, said my own vows, slid the ring on her finger, kissed her while everyone clapped, and somewhere in the back of my chest, something pulled very tight. The reception was the longest 4 hours of my life. I danced with my wife, toasted with my father, hugged people who told me I was a lucky man. Sarah was radiant and completely certain everything was perfect. She had no idea that I had actually listened. We got to the hotel at midnight, and I sat on the edge of the bed and said her name in a way that made her stop. I asked about the vows. Calmly, specifically. I asked her when she had decided that what I told her 11 months ago no longer applied. The conversation lasted 3 hours. The shape of it was this. She had decided somewhere in those 11 months that I would change my mind once it became real. That the wedding, the life, the love we built would eventually shift something in me. She hadn't lied exactly. She had quietly planned around the truth, the way you plan around furniture you intend to move eventually. She had written it into her vows because in her version of our future it was already decided. I spent that night on the hotel couch. We tried after that, counseling, hundreds of conversations, every possible version of a future that could hold both of us. But you cannot build a life where one person needs something the other genuinely cannot give. It doesn't matter how much love exists. Love is not enough when the missing thing is that fundamental. We separated 14 months after the wedding. No fighting. No ugly legal battle. Just 2 people who loved each other sitting across a table, finally being honest in a way they should have been long before that altar. I don't hate Sarah. I hope she found someone who wants the 4-bedroom house and the 2 dogs and all of it. She deserves exactly that. I just wasn't that person. I told her so 11 months before she put it in her vows. She had written our whole future down and handed it to me in front of everyone we knew. She just forgot to ask if I wanted to live in it.